Hello everybody and welcome to another pre-modern video. This one is very special because it's my very first pre-modern dono deck list. So thank you so much Michael Arnold for the donation, really appreciate it. And we're going to be playing your masterpiece today. This is probably one of the best red on black decks in the format, and this is a card that it's very interesting, right? Because you see like all of these other formats where Blood Moon is legal, and it is most definitely like an absolute bonkers card, right? Like Modern, or you have Legacy, like in all of those decks Blood Moon is a really big staple. But you don't see any Blood Moon decks in Premodern because all of these decks are filled with basic lands. However, Contamination doesn't care about basic lands. Contamination says if a land is tapped for mana, it produces black instead of any other type or amount. So what that means, obviously, is that it doesn't matter if you have basics, doesn't matter if you have non-basics, it doesn't matter. Like, you're just not going to have the mana that you need, which is obviously great. Of course, the cost is at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to sacrifice a creature or you sacrifice this. So that's a very big cost. However, this deck in particular can do some works around in order to sacrifice creatures. And we have stuff like Krovikan Horror. We can play Krovikan Horror basically every single turn, and it's going to come back at the end of turn every time. As long as we have another creature on top of it, which should be fairly easy to assemble if we have Zombie Infestation, right? Zombie Infestation, we discard 2 cards and we get a 2/2 zombie. So comboing that Krovikan Horror with Sligh means that all of these cards get back Sligh on the upkeep and Krovikan Horror on our end step. So that's a way to work around it. We also have a very easy workaround in Nether Spirit. So you can simply just have Nether Spirit come back every single turn. So that's another way of enabling Contamination. And we have many ways, between Buried Alive and Gamble, we actually have multiple ways of tutoring whichever we need, and we put it straight up into the graveyard. So this deck is very much a mana denial strategy that will slowly but surely start beating down and eventually kill your opponent with Zombie Infestation. As you can see, all of our stuff keeps coming back over and over again, be it 2/2 zombies or be it Squeeze, Nether Spirits, etc. So this is a fantastic Cabal Therapy deck. And Cabal Therapy is one of the most, one of the strongest cards in the format straight up. So obviously we have the mana denial combined with some hand disruption in the form of therapy and duress in order to create a very solid disruptive package. And then we finish that off with a couple of copies of Firestorm and enough out. So it's really funny, like this is going to be a really grindy deck. And it's very funny how like the win condition is kind of an afterthought, like we will win eventually when we get there, like that's kind of the story. It's pretty interesting how like we don't even have to worry about that, like it will come eventually. We also have like a singleton Null Rod in the main deck with 2 extra copies in the sideboard, and obviously the reason for this is that the hate in the format is a Withered Wretch, which seems definitely very hard to beat, and then a Null Rod. So because of that, we have and Tormod's Crypt or Phyrexian Furnace. So Null Rod actually blocks 2 of those cards, which are the most widely played. Withered Wretch doesn't see much play besides index like The Rock or Dead Guy Ale, but it is a big problem, however, and that's why I'm kind of interested in the choice of playing Snuff Out. Obviously, Snuff Out is an absolute banger of a card. 0 mana to kill a creature is no joke. Like, it's actually really strong. But I'm interested in hearing like why aren't we playing something like Terminate, which can actually deal with that kind of threat, which can pose a problem for us. So but yeah, so we also have we double up the mana denial strategy with Ports and Wastelands, of course, and then we have the Singleton Volrat Stronghold, which I think that the main reason for this will be to enable to enable our Nether Spirit, like if we need to like get rid of a Squee or something. But I'm not sold on the Boulder Stronghold. Like, it seems a little bit lackluster or just bad. Like, I kind of feel like I would want another mana producing land or Rishavan Port number 4. So interested in hearing Michael's thoughts about that. As far as the cyber goes, we have some Coffin Purges for graveyard strategies, some Diabolic Edicts as removal versus stuff like Dreadnought and whatnot. Engineered Play, one of the strongest cyber cards in the entire format. Dystopia, because obviously white and a green permanent can be a problem, particularly stuff like Warship or things like that. So being able to land like a Dystopia earlier can be it can be pretty backbreaking against certain strategies. Extra copies of Snuff Out, extra copies of Firestorm, and extra copies of New Rod against the Tormod script for Action Furnaces. So I figured I was going to be playing this deck list in the league, the Magic Online Society League. So we'll see how it goes. Really looking forward to this one. This looks extremely interesting and exciting. So can't wait. If you're enjoying the forum, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you'd like to support my content, you can do so in a variety of different ways. You can do it for free whenever you use Mana Traders or TCG Players' services using the links that you will find in the description down below. And if you would like to support my content directly, you can do so by joining my Patreon. You can do so with direct donations, where with any donation of $30 or more, I will play any deck list of your choice, just like I'm doing with this one. And finally, if you're interested in coaching to take your game to the next level, that's also an service that I offer. So we're going to play this deck in a league. Can't wait. This looks very exciting to me. See you there. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, I'm into this. We go turn 1 Volcano. Honestly, kind of punished by this Volcano here, right? Because we could be like, if this were a City of Brass, we could be Thought Seizing on 1. Well, my opponent's got a Green Answer, so I guess I don't want to be Thought Seizing on 1, but so there's that. So that was not a bad draw, however. So here we can take the Bold, which is the card that deals the most amount of damage. And then with the second Duress, we can take the Fire Blast. There, play out the Mountain, Seal of Fire, play Mog Fanatic. All of this makes sense. This Wasteland is not looking great. Swing for 1. Duress you. I think we take Fire Blast, right? Taking Incinerate is not necessarily crazy. So now we're gonna get to like start casting like random 1/1s every turn. I guess. Another Lava Man. Okay. So now we're gonna take 1 point, and we're gonna take 2 from the Lava Man. Firestorm would be my best draw. No Firestorm, unfortunately. Let's cast Sligh. And this is going to at least stop the Fanatic from doing anything. Oh, this is sack any creature? Let's go. So I can just sack Sligh to Krovikan Horror? That's crazy. Alright, let's go, baby. Oh, Lava Dart was the top deck. Oh, that's brutal, dude. Ugh. Okay, so Sligh comes back. Bloodstained Mire. So let's play out the Wasteland, and I guess I'm going to play the Sligh. The reason to play the Sligh here, even though it can get, it can get killed by Mog Fanatic, can get killed by everything, but like Krovikan Horror can also get killed by everything, and this allows me, like waiting a turn allows me to just do this next turn and guarantee that I get to ping something, probably one of these Lava Men. Another Lava Mancer, okay. Wow, that's aggro. Okay, very interesting. So now we're going to get back Sligh once again. Man, that's not great. Just play Sulphurous Springs, and here's Horror. Now this is going to put a stop to my opponent's offense. They can kill it whenever they want, but whenever they do kill it, we do get a little bit of value on the way out. So this is my opponent just trying to put stuff in the grave, which is fine. I mean, there's not too much I can do about it. But yeah, I'm gonna block this Grim Lavamancer like there's no tomorrow. Man, this draw has been hella awkward. Block there. Going down to 6, we're at a virtual 4, virtual 2. Therapy. Okay, I guess don't mind if I do. We're gonna name Incinerate. We're gonna name the card that we know about. Incinerate. Fire Blast was the other pickup. Woof. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna play as if my opponent is not gonna top deck. We lose to Mountain, but the thing here is that Sligh actually allows me to block one of these. So we lose to a Mountain, which is fine, I guess. So here we're at virtual 1. They go phase with Lava Man, pass the turn. Okay, so we're going to ping the other Lava Man. We untap, get back Sligh, Therapy. Okay, so cast Therapy, name Fire Blast. And Incinerate was subject, okay. Play 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to sack here. And I'm gonna hold these because of Firestorm. But we are dead to a crazy amount of cards. We're at a virtual 1 as the board stands. That also kills me. Alright, so the Sligh matchup seems really bad for us, huh? We have nothing for the Sligh matchup. We have literally nothing for the Sligh matchup. I guess I'd rather have Firestorm than Snuff Out. Potentially Engineered Plague. Plague seems worse than all my... I guess Null Rod maybe? Oh, they could have stuff like Cyber cards, right? Like Tormod Script and whatnot for Action Furnace. So I guess let's bring in another Null Rod. Man, I'm looking at our deck. I'm like, we really did not draw any of these cards. We have a significant amount of decent cards here. Yeah, happens sometimes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this, I think. I'm gonna cut the second Null Rod. I think my opponent's gonna try to like do their thing, right? Sure. Well, this looks pretty solid actually. So we can go turn 1, basic swamp, duress, turn 2 infestation, curse scroll, or incinerate. I think I'd rather take incinerate than curse scroll. Actually, we can contamination. And we can contamination lock thanks to Nether Spirit. I think I'm actually gonna take this curse scroll. The curse scroll can actually stop my lock. So Jackal Pop. That's a land. So let's play this and let's play Zombie Infestation. So now we can discard Gamble and Nether Spirit and we can contamination, which is nice. Play a mountain. Am I taking this 2 damage? Am I taking this 2 damage? I guess I am, and the reason is that I don't want my opponent to be able to like incinerate my dude, and then my contamination lock goes away. So I want to make sure that I have 2 things in play by the time I contamination. So here's a 2/2 zombie. Spirit comes back. Yeah, we're just gonna slam this nation, I think. So we have almost perfect info, and now my opponent can incinerate one of my things. An opponent packs it in. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so not taking the damage there was obviously quite strong. And not taking the trade there is what allowed me to win here, because otherwise my opponent just kills my Nether Spirit and they just lock me out. Of note, by the way, the Nether Spirit does... And also I guess seeing Curse Scroll, I want to bring in another Null Rod. But I don't even know what I was trying to say there, but whatever. Moving on to the next game. I think I do like Firestorm, some Infestation, and Buried Alive is interesting. I mean, I probably need to have it. I'm just gonna take a gamble, I think. What do we got here? This card doesn't really do anything, huh? This card does some stuff, it's just not super great. I'm gonna keep it though. I'm gonna put the gamble on the bottom. So if we find the land, we can potentially get something going here. Turn 1 pop. Contamination is not great, so think about a name Lightning Bolt here. There's an argument for naming Lavamancer is the only other thing that I would name here. But I think Lightning Bolt is the better thing to name. Okay. So guess I should have named Seal of Fire, my bad. Play Mountain, Seal, Mog. That makes sense. Can I draw land? Nope. Let's name... Let's name... What can we name here? I guess we can just duress. And if we see that my opponent has a land, we name Vortex. Yeah. I think we just duress here. And otherwise we just take the Seal. Okay, so because they have Mog, I'm just going to take Seal of Fire here. Otherwise, they're just going to be able to go Seal plus Mog, and that's bad for me. So this makes their hand a little bit clunkier. They can also just find a land on the top and drop a Sulfuric Vortex, and then we probably just lose. But yeah, pretty rough that we couldn't. Dude, we're playing 24 lands. 24 lands. I guess we're going to name Vortex here. I mean, what would they I mean, I still lose to the Vortex, so I have to name Vortex here. I think they have Incinerate in hand, yeah. Incinerate is the only thing that made sense to be in hand because they didn't play out the Mog. I think they should have played the Mog for what's worth. I do think they should have played the Mog Fanatic. It represents more damage, right? Particularly knowing that I'm missing land drops here. Obviously, I mean, I guess they do get rewarded there. That's a reason to do it. So can we find the red source? Nope. Still no red source. Here's a zombie infestation to at least do something. So this is like half good. It's not necessarily good, but it's half good. I think we're going to die though. So infestation, discard Squee, Null Rod. Make it 2/2. This is just way too late for this. I should have drawn the land like probably 2 or 3 turns ago to have a chance. Because I would have been able to like get basically half a zombie every turn for free. But yeah, now it's just too much pressure. My opponent's got too much power on board. We're just locked out. We're just locked out at this point. We're not gonna be able to deploy stuff quickly enough to be able to outrace them. So that's how it goes sometimes. It ended up being closer than I was expecting, honestly. I was imagining that we were just going to get completely run over, and we did, but, you know, we got very unlucky. I feel like if we didn't get super lucky to actually turn this around, we just need to find a land in a timely manner, and maybe we could have done something, but yeah, all right, that's how it goes. See you next round. All right, let's see what we got here. We have an interesting hand, I guess. Huh. Do we just gamble for zombie infestation here? I think we do, right? Like, it's possible that we just discard the zombie infestation to the gamble. Also, I guess it's kind of awkward that I'm supposed to play Sulphurous Spring to cast the gamble, because if I go Mire and I get the zombie infestation, then I may discard my Sulphurous Springs to the gamble, and then I can't cast the zombie infestation, which would be really awkward. Okay, and now my hand doesn't function. Well, that was fun. That's funny. Alright, so we drew another Mire. I guess we're just gonna be hard casting these Nether Spirits, just playing fair over here. Nantuko Shade. Alright, so let's do rest, see what my opponent is doing over there. Black-red, so maybe some sort of... okay, so this is kind of zombies. Well, that Negator seems terrifying right now. So I guess I have to Wasteland them? Because if they draw land, they may drop a Negator on me, and I'm going to be in really bad shape. So here we're going to be taking some damage from the Shade, but then we can just play this Nether Spirit, and we're just good to go, right? So that's kind of... I guess I'm gonna play Mire. My opponent could be playing Wasteland themselves, so playing Mire here is better. I'm gonna fetch for us another Swamp, though. Not super sure, but I think that's right. Ah, they did have the Wasteland. Rotten Giant. When it attacks or blocks, sacrifice it unless you exile a card from your graveyard. Huh. I was not aware of this card's existence. That's a good draw, however. So I guess we want to go play Springs, play Zombie Infestation. And this gets into play at the end of my turn, I think. So we're going to discard... I guess we discard both Krovikan Horrors first. And then we discard Nether Spirit plus Stronghold. So that's fine. Create a zombie. And now we discard this again. And now we want to put the Nether Spirit onto the graveyard first, then the Stronghold. And now we're going to get some triggers. So this one triggers. The other one also triggers. And we still have one free zombie here. We're going to get the Nether Spirit back next turn. So at this point, I'm not particularly scared of the Nick. Am I double blocking? I have perfect info, so I know that I can just double block this Rotten Giant and it's going to be fine. I'm not sure if I double blocked in Nantuko Shade, however. Double blocking Nantuko Shade is kind of shady. Yeah, I don't think that's super great. Wasteland my land. That's fine. Seems actually good for me now. I mean, we're gonna have Nether Spirit back every turn, so I think that if they attack with both, which they kind of have to, because it's not getting any better for them, right? The more time that goes by, the worse it gets. Nether Spirit keeps coming back. Croaking Horrors will keep coming back. So I think this is correct for my opponent. They should be attacking here. The question now is, how do we block? I think I'm going to double block the Rotting Giant here. And I'm going to take 4 from the Shade. Next turn, we can block the Shade, which means my opponent can't do anything else with their mana. So that's cool. And here we're basically trading 1/2/2 for a 3/3, which is obviously pretty good for me. But it's not like I can black this Rotting Giant, right? Like, my opponent is going to get to a point where they're just going to have enough stuff. So there goes Spirit. Gamble is really interesting. I guess I can go get Sligh. So I want to summon Infestation, discard both of these, put them in the graveyard, get a 2/2, and now we gamble for Sligh. Fetch Mountain, gamble for Sligh. Oh, I messed up my sequencing. I'm an idiot. Oh, that sucks. Well, I messed that up. I was supposed to fetch first. Yeah, I messed this up. So I guess now the Horror is gone forever. And I bought Red Stronghold. It's also not good either. Yeah, I messed this up pretty badly. I mean, it's gonna be fine, I think. Yeah, Port's pretty good. Alright, so activate Infestation, discard, put this and that zombie. So now we just make 1 free zombie every turn. I'm gonna be tapping my opponent's mana every turn. And this looks pretty good. It also means that my opponent won't be able to pump the Shade because they're only going to have 1 mana. So that means that this coming turn I'm going to be able to start attacking, which is nice. Sour commands. That's fine. So this is the turn where we start to get aggressive. Return Sligh to hand. I guess there's no need for me to play the land, but I am going to start getting in there. Okay. Some Infestation. We're gonna discard Horror, then Sligh, get a 2/2, end step, get back Horror, and we can get another Horror still here. Oops, I misclicked there. Meant to tap the peak. So opponent gets to play Negator, but at this point it just doesn't do anything. At this point it's too late. Terminate your zombie token is the okay. Sligh is value, man. Sligh is good value in this deck. It's really good value. Opponent can't attack here. Okay. I guess they do. Okay. I guess this is just desperation mode because they're kind of locked out, I think. So Infestation, discard both of these. So I guess this goes to the graveyard first, then the Horror goes to the graveyard. Make a zombie. I'm gonna block the Shade. We trade. Might as well tap their Mire here. Not that it does anything. My opponent shouldn't even fetch. Although I guess they do. So whatever I draw here, it's probably gonna get discarded to make a zombie. And then so get back Sligh. Draw another Port. Damn, that's actually really good, right? that's like one of the very few cards that I would not discard to to Zombie Infestation. Like this is just a lock now. So swing with everything. I guess I maybe shouldn't have swung with everything. Maybe should have left 1 dude to block. We still have lethal next turn. And my opponent could have... I mean, there's no card that can deal me 5 damage for 1 red mana. So maybe I should have left black mana. Because I know... I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no cards in the format that can kill me from here. Alright, that was cool. So these contaminations are coming out. These contaminations are coming out. This snuff out is coming out. Non-black, you say, huh? Does Coffin Purge do anything? I definitely want Firestorm. Oh, Firestorm? Wow, Firestorm and Negator? Oh, that sounds incredible. Yeah, give me a piece of that. Give me a piece of that for sure. Man, I wonder if I should be bringing in No Rod in the blind. How likely is my opponent to have like Tormod's Crypt, Phyrexian Furnace, stuff like that? Probably pretty likely. What I can do is I can get the good frame one, you know? Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go no rod, a couple of Coffin Purges, and maybe like one Diabolic Edict. I'm not high on Duress though. I do like Therapy, but I don't think I like Duress. So let's go with this. This is with the information that I have. This is where I want to be. There's a possibility that I should be again like bringing in the third no rod to stop potential Tomo Script shenanigans, but okay. Yeah, this hand sounds quite strong actually. We can go turn 1 Duress, take a look-see. Turn 2 either Waste or Volcano, and then if we do get to resolve this Buried Alive, get 3 Squeeze. I think that combination plus Zombie Infestation is gonna be GG's. But yeah, this hand looks nuts. This hand looks like the dream. Turn 1 Mire. Ugh. Now like this Volcanoes entering tapped are pretty brutal here. Incinerate, double, and Tuco Shade. Okay. So I guess we're gonna be shading this turn. Swamp. I imagine they're gonna shade here. Okay. So I think I am naming shade here though. Nantuko Shade. Okay, that sucks because they're gonna get to wasteland me. Man, we're just getting extremely punished by. I'm gonna have to trade with the wasteland though. I'm just getting extremely punished by this ETB tap land. I could have just played a Zombie Infestation there if I wanted. So wasteland's gonna get rid of my Volcano, and they top deck Sarcomancy. They're pumping the shade and getting in there. Okay. Wasteland is not a bad draw, so now I get to some Infestation here and pass the turn back. We get to threaten an activation. Not sure whether I want to do it here or wait till. I think I probably have to trade with this zombie. It's gonna be so much damage otherwise. So let's discard Volcano and one of these Buried Alives. Get a zombie here to trade, because I think I'm gonna get raised too quickly otherwise. So now I can go. They play the land already, so I know they don't have another wasteland. I can just go land Buried Alive for 3 squeeze. Buried Alive for triple squee. Oh, actually that's wrong. I should have gone Krovikan Horror, squee. Because that means I get the Krovikan Horrors on my end step, which means that I can make a zombie here. I had like 1 guaranteed zombie, also place around removal better. Graveyard removal, that is. So I think, yeah, that was not as optimal as it could have been. And now we just hold up all of the cards in our hand, and we just chump block this shade forever. Hopefully we draw some other action, but in Premodern there's no outs in black and red to a resolved enchantment besides Disc. And I doubt my opponent's playing Disc. So, oh, Negator? Oh, okay, yeah. So super punished by my play. Like I took 3 damage that I should have. Okay, squee. What do I draw? A Mire. I think we just do nothing and we pass it back. Opponent takes 1 for the Sarcomancy, but that's not gonna really matter. Play another Sarcomancy. Okay, so this is just my opponent playing random things that can get sacked to Negator, I think. So we're gonna take 1 from here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna take 7, or we're gonna force my opponent to sack 4 things. So discard to Infestation, discard to Infestation. I mean, I think we're kind of forced to do that. So they're gonna sack both Sarcomancies and I guess 2 lands. Yeah. The problem if I throw something in front of the shade is that my opponent's gonna get to. They're gonna get to like just sack Sarcomancies and I still take a bunch from the Negator. So it's better to throw stuff in front of Negator this turn to have my opponent have less resources for the coming turn. I'm down to 2 though. So I guess Firestorm is my draw here. If I draw Firestorm, I can deal 4 damage, actually 3 damage to this Negator, forcing my opponent to sack 3 things. That's still not enough. Still not enough. Yeah, I guess that 1 turn meant that and this is when you see the inexperience when playing a deck like this. Like those small edges matter a lot. Like I took 3 damage that I shouldn't have last turn, and I would be now in a situation where I could potentially set up some different locks, or I could have been able to like make one more. I would have had one more zombie in play. So yeah, I should have buried alive for double dude plus squee. If I make 2 zombies now, I throw one here, block one here, and I just die. Okay, so going to game number 3. I don't know if we were gonna win if I had played correctly, but we would have been in much better shape. Also, my opponent showed me Incinerate, and they showed me nothing to do with these Coffin Purges. They also showed me nothing to do with this Null Rod, but these cards are bad. All of these cards are really bad. I guess I'd rather have the Purge than another Duress. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should have another Duress. Punished. Am I keeping this? Can I keep this? The problem is if I get Duressed on 1, that is really bad for me. This is already a mulligan, potentially. And I have good mana, which is nice, but... This is a sketchy hand. I think I'm gonna ship it. I think I can do better on 6. I mean, this would be better if I didn't have a port in my hand. If I had, like, any other land, would be much better shape. Okay, so this looks like the best hand we've seen so far, so I guess I'm gonna keep this one. I'm gonna bottom Volcano, and... Buried Alive, because I really want to Duress on 1, Therapy on 2. So bottom Volcano and bottom, I guess I'm going to bottom Edict actually. Buried Alive has the higher upside. Basic Swamp, Duress you. Actually, I might just Rotting Giant, or let's just take Duress here. If I take Sarcomancy, I can potentially bait my opponent into Duressing on 1. I think I'm just gonna take the Duress. The problem with taking Duress though is like it forces my opponent to put in a 2/2 into play on turn 1. So there's so now this is potentially dude, we drew all of our situational all of our situational cards. Rotting Giant or Sarcomancy, what's better? I guess Sarcomancy is better. Okay. So Meyer does feed the Rotting Giant here. So this Rotting Giant has a decent number of attacks. Land, Horror. Horror's not great. I think we're just gonna get run over here. My hand just was non-functional. If I can find a land, I can like fetch Horror and like a Squee, maybe? Diabolic Edict. Okay, I mean that's a castable spell. Okay, so I mean we're forced to Edict in here because we're gonna take too much damage otherwise. So I'm gonna wait for my opponent to exile, and then I'm going to Edict them. Because if they have another giant, then they can just, they still have more food in the graveyard. So they sack the token, meaning that they only have 1 more attack with this giant. This is brutal. Alright, pass it back. If they draw Wasteland, I am very dead, I think. Fetching a mountain. Ugh, another fetch land. That's another 3 damage. And now we are dead to, what's his name off the top? I guess we could any land allows me to cast Therapy here. Oh, Withered Witch? Yeah, that's game. That is game. Perfect. Alright. Yeah, I have no outs here anymore. Wow, that was very unlucky, I think. Though this matchup ended up not looking as good games 2 and 3, honestly. Like, I mean, it was my deck not functioning, right? Like, I just had to mulligan to 5, and it just happens sometimes, but rough. But yeah, a deck where our best card in Contamination is a blank is probably not the matchup that we're trying to face every single time. Playing against the one and only William Hurst. This hand looks terrible, so let's ship it. This hand looks better, so we'll keep it. Probably gonna ship this Firestorm that doesn't do anything, and then we'll go from there. Sligh. Well, then I'm a little bit sad that I shipped the Firestorm, aren't I? Let's play a Swamp and say go. Really hoping that I can find Forgotten Cave Cycle, turn 1. Rifter. Mindstone. Okay. No idea what Will is up to over there. Therapy. I think I'm just gonna port. I'm gonna port him this turn. And I don't have my engine going just yet, so I can't really play this contamination next turn, so there's no real need to play out Zombie Infestation, and by doing this, I'm going to tap the White Source. I have no idea what he's up to. I'm assuming that there's some sort of Astral Sligh shenanigans going on, but it's unclear. The Mind Stone is throwing me off. Yeah, probably no shenanigans over there. But here, I can therapy into... Well, actually, if I can therapy into Zombie Infestation, but does that do anything? Because I don't have any recurring thing for Zombie Infestation. I think I'm gonna therapy Disenchant here, or Seal of Cleansing. Seal of Cleansing. Decree of Justice, Monk Realist. Yep. I was not expecting Monk Realist, but yeah, that's the card that I wanted to hit. Or like the style of card that I wanted. So I'm just going to, I guess tap again on his upkeep. I could Zombie Infestation, discard 2 cards, and Flashback Therapy to take the Monk Realist. That seems really sketchy though, so I'm just gonna go for tap your planes once again. I'm just gonna cycle step, find another planes. Gonna take 1 here. Duress. Okay. Just gonna cycle Decree here, most likely. Cycle for 1. And then Monk Realist. Got me good. That's a Whiffsky. And they have like a bunch of Cyclone Ants. Man, this is not going well for me so far. So I guess I just kind of have to do this. Play out Infestation. Discard Contamination. And Wasteland to it. And then just Flashback Therapy naming Monk Realist. This sucks. This sucks, but I'm assuming there's some Astral Sligh shenanigans going on over there, and I can't have this card hit the battlefield. So there goes. At least this stops my opponent's offense, right? Because I have 2 cards in hand, so my opponent's gotta respect that. They can't just attack. But this is not looking great. This is not looking great. I need a way to get my engine started. I mean, actually, I'm gonna take the 1. I think I'm gonna take the 1 here. It's not that big of a clock. And now if I find, I was gonna say if I find something like Nether Spirit, I can get going. Okay, so we pass the turn. We're gonna tap, I guess, Reflecting Pool and Upkeep. It's the better land. Really hoping they are not playing another Monk Realist, because that would suck. So tap your land. So they still have Secluded Step in hand. That's a Siege Gang Commander. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. Yep. This time around, I am gonna do this because I want to get this out of the way. But this is, I don't think this is a play or anything, so they can just Mock Fanatic to. So we gamble for. I mean, this is just way too much pressure. I think I can't beat this anymore. I needed to find one of my engines a little bit earlier. That was just too late. So Firestorm does not seem great here. I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't seem. I guess Enough Out is what's the one that's bad. Engineering Plague seems decent. Both on Zombie and on Solier are pretty good. Purge answers the Dragon potentially. Do we care for a Null Rod? It's probably fine. Maybe just leaving 1 Firestorm. I'm gonna cut the Firestorm. Okay, this seems fine. Like, I'm not super stoked about this, but it's okay. Do I want to gamble for... I don't think I want to gamble. I think I want to Duress in case my opponent has a Tormod Script or Phyrex Infernus. Yeah, there's the Astral Slide, makes sense. I think I'm taking Disenchant. Can I beat Disenchant? I kind of can't beat Astral Slide, actually. So I guess I'm taking that. No, this is not great, I don't think. Yeah, so this deck seems like it's doing something very cool, but it seems like you can't just have a couple of... That's a good draw, by the way. You can't just have a couple of your combo pieces going on. Like, you need to have all of the pieces, otherwise the deck is just clunky, right? So it seems like once everything is in place, the stuff that it's doing is actually quite strong. As we saw, or you can have like the nut draw, like we had against Sligh earlier, where we just went like turn 2 Zombie Infestation, turn 3 just play, you know. Okay, so there's that. But they have Disenchant in hand, so I can't just play that out and hope that it's gonna be. So let's play Springs, and I'm just going to tap the planes now. So yeah, so you can't just have part of your pieces online. You need to have all of your pieces. Like right now we have Zombie Infestation, but we don't have a way to enable it. Same thing that we had in the previous game, right? So if you don't have the Buried Alive, if you don't naturally find your pieces and you put them into, you put them in order, then you're just kind of going to get run over. Like here, for example, okay, so there's Krovikan Horror. So we can gamble for Therapy. We can gamble for Cabal Therapy. And Meyer gets discarded, so that's fine. So now we Therapy. We probably have to name Exalted Angel, because we can't beat Exalted Angel here, even if they play it as a 2/2. So we have to name Exalted Angel here. And they found Astral. Flicker. Wow. I was not expecting Flicker. Okay, so Angel's gone. Now with Stronghold are going to tap their land. And now we do have Horror, but we actually don't have another creature. So, so we do have the Infestation here, but we still don't really have a way to get the engine going. So they tap out for Astral. We have Perfect Information. So this is kind of unfortunate here. I can play Zombie Infestation, Cabal Therapy, Disenchant. Oh, I guess we just cast the Krovikan Horror and Cabal Therapy, Disenchant. Yeah, that's the play. So play out Krovikan Horror, Cabal Therapy, Disenchant, and then I guess it depends on how much longer of a game do we want to play. Because if we kind of have the Siege Gang Commander covered thanks to this Plague. So I think we're just going to name Disenchant. Yeah, I think this is better. Not by a lot, but it is certainly better. So we're hoping for Sligh. I guess Sligh would be my best draw here. That's not Sligh. So we can put Krovikan Horror on top of the deck, but that doesn't really do anything. It kind of actively hurts us in a way. So I think I'm just going to tap the Reflecting Pool on their upkeep. So tap Pool, holds onto the Forgotten Cave, which makes sense. Another Plague. Okay. So I guess we just repeat the last turn. Man, this is rough. The problem is, like, we can't even play out this Zombie Infestation, because if he gets Disenchanted, then my Krovikan Horror is just gone forever. So, I mean, I guess I can Borak Stronghold it, so it's not gone forever, but I don't know. It feels really clunky here. It's so weird to have a card that cares so much about the Graveyard Order. Okay, so we tap, pool and upkeep, finds another pool, does not play the Siege Gang, which is good for me. Like, I'm interested in playing this longer game, I think. Again, I'm not gonna cast this Duress because I may have to, like, I want to have a way to get this Krovikan Horror back. So we really need to find one of the missing pieces here. 5 mana. What is this? Oh, Decree, of course. Makes a lot of sense. So I guess one of my plagues is gonna have to name Soldier now. Otherwise we're gonna take a little beating. This has been so awkward. This has been super awkward. So we're gonna take two. We're gonna get 2 1/1s into play here. Oh, they misclicked. Didn't pay for the soldiers. I mean, there's nothing we can do. Oh well, we misclicked there. we're returning the misclick. Whoops. Misclicks aplenty over here. So I guess here comes the Siege Gang. There it is. And I guess I'm gonna tap. I'm just gonna port Will on end step. He tapped wrong though. He should have tapped one of these. Yeah, we're still looking for Buried Alive. We kind of can't really do anything until we find Buried Alive, awkwardly enough. I guess this is the turn where I do res, which means this Gravican Horror is out of the question anymore. Man, this is so awkward. But I have to do res now because if one of my opponent's last card in hand is Disenchant, then I just get absolutely destroyed, right? So I'm gonna play a land, Engineered Plague. Whoops, why did I tap like that? I was thinking I want to play an extra land so I can port, and then I'm like, oh, actually, why would I? Yeah, that was bad. All right, mistakes were made. So now Kraken Horror is out of the picture until I Bullrat Stronghold it back, which again, like I could do that. That gives me like a 2/2, which blocks Siege Gang. I probably may have to do that. So I'm not drawing it this turn, but I'm drawing it the following turn. They're like, all right, thank you. Finally. All right, so we're going to pay like this. And we're going to go... I think we're going to go Horror, Horror, Sligh. Horror, Horror, Sligh. And very lucky for me that it ordered it. It put them in the proper order, because that could have gone really poorly. So now we go to end step. We get back our horrors. I think at this point it's more valuable for me to be able to return the horror than it is for me to be able. Monk Realist was the draw. Big yikes. Huge yikes. That was the last turn, by the way. That was the last turn to draw the Monk Realist. Because next turn we were going to lock them out with Contamination. Yeah, that's brutal. Alright, so there goes my Plague. So now Siege Gang is enabled. So how do I set this up? I think I have the pieces here. So I think priority number 1 is to be able to set up Contamination. So, but I also need to Plague on Human now. Because if I Plague on Human, then the Monk dies. I'm at 16. My opponent has at least 1 Flicker effect, potentially more. This is really tricky. So I have 3 mana to Plague. I don't even know if I want to draw the horror anymore. I think I may have to. Man, that Monk Realist draw is devastating. That Monk Realist draw is absolutely devastating. So now I'm going to have to... I guess I'm going to have to Plague plus Zombie Infestation to stop the clock a little bit. And then following turn I Contamination. So I think we're going to Stronghold the horror. This is rough. This is very rough. So Sligh comes back. And now I have to delay my Contamination by 1 turn. 1, 2, 3. Engineered Plague on Human. That's not going to give him the window to flicker the Monk Realist. So now we're going to get 2 zombies out of the deal. And we're going to get 2 zombies for the remainder of the Cycle Secluded Step. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. Like, this is going to come back on end step. So it's going to destroy the Plague. Oh, but then I can't zombie. Oh, that's brutal. Because he just destroys the zombie infestation instead of... Oh, I may just lose here, actually. I may just lose because he's going to have... Human, I think? Ah, this is brutal. Because he just destroys the zombie infestation and I just have nothing at that point. But I just have to let it go. Because I can't have him destroy. And like, this Monk Realist has been so much trouble. This Monk Realist has been so much trouble for me. So the Monk effectively dies. Go to upkeep. Tap. Pool. I'm gonna take 2. Surprised he didn't cycle Siege Gang on my main phase. So what's gonna happen here is I'm going to main phase 1, play Contamination, see if he has an answer. Okay, so main phase 1, play Contamination. He has 1 unknown card, and if he wants to cycle, he has to cycle right now. Okay, the Forgotten Cave's finally been cycled. Blinking Siege Game. we have to dodge Disenchant this turn. Okay. Secluded Step also cycled. Do you find the Disenchant well? Needs to be exactly Disenchant. Alright, no Disenchant. Cool. So he didn't float mana, so now I can do this on my actual main phase. Here's Infestation, and we have the lock. Woof! Alright, that was that was a struggle. That was a struggle. We had it set up for like we finally established the lock on turn 12. we really ground that one down. That was a hell of a grind. I kind of want Snuff Out, oddly enough. I think I kind of just want Snuff Out. Like, that Monk Realist is a heck of a problem. I think I just have to... I'd rather have Snuff Out. Also, there's Exalted Angel, so that's like 2 very, very big reasons to want Snuff Out. So I think that means I want a couple of them. And... Plagues were actually fantastic. Plagues were actually very, very good. So I think I want all 3 of them. I don't think I can really cut any of my engine pieces though, so I guess... But Duress is really good. Duress is very, very good. So I guess I'm gonna have to just have the single Snuff Out, because I think Plague is better than Snuff Out. So the cuts here are either Snuff Out or Duress. I don't think I can cut any other cards. Like we just saw how much the deck struggles when it doesn't draw its engine, right? So all of these I don't think are particularly cuttable. Potentially the Nether Spirit could be a cut, but same thing with Gamble. Just kind of have to have it. Maybe that's what we cut though. No, I'm just gonna cut Duress. Nah, actually I'm gonna cut Snuff Out. Snuff Out is better specifically against Exalted Angel and the Monk, both of which Duress doesn't hit. Okay, this is a hand. I like this. It has a lot of things that I'm interested in. Has the Volcano again, once again. If this were a Wasteland, we would be in a City of Brass, we would be in much better shape. Okay, I'm gonna Duress because my opponent could have some stuff to cast on turn 2. I'm not gonna be playing some Infestation on turn 2 anyways, right? The thing is, on turn 2 I could go Gamble plus some Infestation, but I don't think I want to Gamble actually. But Duress in case of Tormod's Crypt or something like that seems much more valuable. Although I guess if they had it, they would have played it out already. Oh, that's a lot of goodies. It's got City of Brass. So if I take the Mind Stone, I can just Wasteland him and then just get a bunch of zombies. I think I'm going to take the Mind Stone. Just going to try to play a little bit of a mana denial strategy over here. And I'm only doing this because his other land is City of Brass, right? If he had any other land, I would have been... Oof, that is very tempting. Is this just better? We just board upkeep? Yeah, I think this is just better. They even take a damage. Ping you for 1. Boom, ping you. This is the troll play, which obviously is the correct player. So these are effectively the same land, except this one I get to like ping my opponent every turn as I do it, which is much more hilarious. Also another Wasteland. Wow, we're gonna really get to play the prison game this game. This is kind of amazing, actually. The way things lined up here is very convenient for me. Yep, that's also getting Wastelanded. Although I guess, is it better to just... Am I getting too cute Wastelanding this? I can really mess with Will's mana here. I don't think that just like porting the random thing it's gonna matter. So I think I'm just gonna Wasteland the city. Just get rid of his white source. And I'm probably still going to port here. I could take this turn to Duress. Because next turn I'm going to be playing a tapped land. And I want to place... I guess I don't want to play Zombie Infestation, actually. Yeah, so I guess we're just gonna pass here. Just gonna pass, tap his land on upkeep, and I'm going to duress the turn that I play Buried Alive. The turn before I'm planning to play Buried Alive, which would be this coming turn. So now I play Volcano, and now I duress. And Exalted Angel is very, very threatening. I think I take Astral Sligh. Here. We're gonna Buried Alive, Mog Fanatic. Got it. Okay, that's pretty good. Man, this is a heck of a puzzle. I think I Buried Alive here for double Krovikan Squee. Krovikan Squee. And now we get our Horrors on end step. Next turn I duress. And this way I guarantee that I'm gonna get at least a couple of zombies. Will still doesn't have a white source. He found it, never mind. So Cabal Therapy is my best draw here, I guess. Okay, so he plays the Morph. So we get back Squee. That's a sick draw. Wow. Alright. We may actually have a shot here. So now we go Therapy, name Disenchant. And we just have to hope that he doesn't flip this in time. Therapy, name Disenchant. I'm not gonna Therapy, like there's no need to Therapy Siege Gang just yet. We're gonna play Zombie Infestation. Zombie Infestation discarded double Horror. Now discard Horror Squee. Again, no need to discard the Siege Gangs. If he draws exactly white source, we may be in trouble. Because it's gonna be pretty hard for us to raise. So we would need to have to find exactly Snuff Out. We have 4 looks at finding an answer to the Exalted Angel. So that's nice. Okay, so here on end step, I'm just gonna make another 2/2 because means I get to attack faster. So now we get back Squee. And this deck is really scraping for those W's. I kind of like that about it. There's so many wild interactions going on. So if we find Contamination, we probably win. I'm not gonna gamble for it, like that seems kind of unnecessarily risky. So we get back Squee, another Zombie Infestation. Doesn't really do anything. So we're gonna swing with everything, send everything. Opponent takes 6. We're gonna Zombie Infestation, Horror, Squee, in that order. Get another 2/2. And now we can upkeep tap the plains. So I think we're golden here. We're gonna get back all of our Horrors. 3 mana to decree. So the thing now is, can I force a chump? So get back my stuff. Tap your white source so you can't flip your Exalted Angel. Excellent. Got there. So we're going to on end step make 3 zombies, leaving probably Gamble in hand. And then just make 3 zombies and then force my opponent to chomp because we were going to be swinging for 14. So I guess they can just block with the Mog Fanatic. But at that point, even if they manage to flip Exalted Angel, they can't race me. So that was the struggle, but we somehow got there, man. I am a very quick player on MTGO line, and like the fact that I played this, I was like over 4 minutes behind in this match, really tells how much this deck is making me think. Round number 4, let's see what we got here. We got Krovikan Horror. We actually have some pretty decent land disruption going on. I think I'm gonna keep this, and I think it's kind of awkward that we're on the play. I think if we were on the draw, I would go turn 1 Nether Spirit, just go to discard and just go get Nether Spirit. I think I'm going to go for Wasteland Go here. And the reason to play Wasteland instead of something like Sulphur Springs is precisely the fact that I get to disrupt my opponent's mana, and thanks to Port, and I play around my opponent having their own Wasteland. Because if they do have a Wasteland, we kind of get a little bit time. This is nice though. We get to Port my opponent's turn 1 play, and we get to sort of delay the game a little bit longer. Not super excited about the fact that I have double contamination against the double basic swamp deck. That part is not super great. Duress. I literally have 3 dead cards in my hand. You may take whichever one you prefer, opponent. All 3 of these cards do literally nothing against my opponent's mono black deck. Sure, take Snuff out. Sounds good. I mean, I could cast Squee, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna port them again. Port you. Llanowar Wastes. Okay, so we may be playing against the Rock here. It's a bird. So this, I guess, Snuff out then would have done something. Huh. Yeah, this is this is not exactly what I would love to see, huh? I mean, I could gamble. I could gamble for Zombie Infestation. I mean, I guess I have to, actually. My opponent already... They could have cast another, like, Cabal Therapy or whatever. I guess that they wouldn't have. So, let's play Zombie Infestation. We obviously discard the Zombie Infestation. Oh, yes. Yes. You love to see it. I am kind of ready to pack it in. Literally none of my cards do anything at all. I have 1 less good draw than I do otherwise. I'm kind of good to go here. I think I'm ready to just move on to the next game. Yeah. So this means even like some Infestation just doesn't do anything anymore. Yeah, I think I've seen enough. Now just move on to the next game and just bring in Firestorm, bring in the Edicts. Do we care about Dystopia? I think so. Dystopia seems okay. I'm gonna cut these contaminations. Snuff out seems hella medium. I'm not loving Gamble. Like, this card is really, really bad when you actually do care a lot about the card disadvantage. How do I feel about Coffin Purge? Like, Coffin Purge is the only way that I can really stop my opponent's late game engine. I think I'm gonna cut the Null Rod. If it stopped Pernicious Deed, I would be all about Null Rod, but it doesn't. So I think I like Coffin Purge an okay amount, not a crazy amount, but like an okay amount. This seems fine-ish. I'm gonna cut one of the Firestorms. I mean, I guess the card that I'm the most scared of is Withered Wretch, so maybe I should just have access to Firestorm as another answer to Withered Wretch. Dystopia, Coffin Purge, couple of lands. I think I'm gonna keep this hand, but I'm not excited about it at all. Almost F6 there. Yeah, I'm not stoked about this hand whatsoever, but like against decks like the Rock, you get super punished by mulliganing. So this hand is definitely like the very low end, the very lowest end of keepable hands, I would assume. Okay, so my opponent moves to 6 and then ships it back. We really need to find like a Zombie Infestation here, Duress, stuff like that. Okay, so opponent does Duress me. The good thing is I don't really care about any of these cards, really. Like, there are just like medium cards that don't do anything currently. Like, I would be a lot more worried if I had like a Zombie Infestation in hand or something. I imagine they're gonna take, yeah, they're gonna take Dystopia. I'm gonna play another Sulphurous Spring here, pass it back. Yeah, I think this is just fine here. Then my opponent has a better mana draw than I have seen in all of my Rock matches in the in the playoff this week. Cabal Therapy. Yeah. Imagine they're gonna name Buried Alive here. It's kind of the only card that does anything in this hand. Wait, what? Why? Why would they discard Squee? They just have Tormod Script or something? But I mean, Buried Alive is 3 squeeze. I am not very alive. I'm very surprised. Do I even purge this? I don't think so. I think I'm very confused by that. I don't know if my opponent like did not read Squee very well, or I'm not entirely sure what that was about. Well, here goes nothing. So we're gonna get, I think I'm gonna get double Horror plus Nether Spirit. And we're gonna get back both horrors on end step, and then we're gonna get back the Nether Spirit on my upkeep. Get back both horrors, send it back. I think my opponent just has perfect information about my hand here, so I don't know, wastes. That's something I can wasteland. Alright. They have a deed. I have a 2-2. 2-2 comes back. Cabal Therapy. What am I afraid of? Definitely playing out my wasteland. And now the question is, what do I do here? Do I therapy? Do I play out Sligh? I think I'm gonna therapy, naming Baloth. Ravenous Baloth. And see what's up. Second deed, Recurring Nightmare, Phantom Nishova. Okay. So I think we're just going to wasteland and waste. I don't care about Recurring Nightmare. I kind of care about second Pernicious Deed. Maybe it would have been better to just play Sligh there, which is a bad clock, but a clock nonetheless. Would love to draw maybe like another... Well, kind of punished. That's a really good top deck, opponent. Really, really good top deck. Firestorm is interesting. Well, swing for 2. Let's go, baby. And I think I just play out Sligh. Just the honest Sligh, 3 mana 1/1. I'm also taking like 1 point of damage for everything. This is not great. This is not the best spot, but a little bit punished by this mana base. It's kind of the price we have to pay, right? Opponent, they're just gonna crack Deed. Oh, this is so good for me. Yes, this is perfect. Thank you. That is very, very good. So now Squeeze coming back. We don't get Nether Spirit this turn, unfortunately, but now we're gonna get to... I guess I can just... I just have to play out Squeeze here. And I'm very much interested in getting that Pernicious Deed from my opponent's hand. Pernicious Deed. And they drew a Duress, which is fine. Alright, pass it back. So Duress actually gonna take a card here, which is unfortunate, but... Oh, they treetop? Okay, so if I do this, I'm not gonna get back my Nether Spirit. But I do get to destroy my opponent's land when we are very short on resources, so I think this is worth doing. So choose 2 targets, discard 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow! I can't believe that I can't choose to deal 3. I have to target myself. This sucks. Well, this card is a lot worse than I thought it was. I thought that you could just like choose up to. So I guess I just have to dome myself for 3 in order to kill this treetop village, which does seem worth it again. So I guess I'm just gonna dome myself for 3 because yeah, all right, I'm not super into Firestorm anymore. I'm not super into this card anymore. Like it's fine, but I don't know. I'm not. So now Squeak comes back. Buried Alive is interesting. So I can Buried Alive for some more Squeeze. I guess I can get the last horror. 1, 2, 3. And I guess I can Coffin Purge my own Firestorm in order to get back more horrors. And then we're just gonna start hard casting these horrors. Boom. Look at all these synergies. They have perfect information, so this the rest tells me that they forgot. I think they know about all of my cards in hand here. I think this duress was just a little misstep from my opponent. And now we just start hard casting some just start hard casting some 4 mana 2/2s. That's the strat, I guess. Ooh, we don't have to take damage. Wow, look at that. Just look at that. Look at the value. We're gonna get a free 2/2 next turn as well. Woof. This is fire. Wall of Roots. That's so busted. Okay, so here's Spirit. Comes back. Bloodstained Mire. So these means I get to fetch for a basic mountain. And I get to play another horror. And I get to port my opponent. Next turn we start the slow the slow decay. The slow grind of just dealing just 2 damage at a time. Oof. Well, that's strong. So I guess we're gonna start card casting Squeeze now. This is such a mopey game. This is such a mopey game. I kind of love this. I kind of love this. So I have a couple of options here. I think I'm gonna go Squee plus double port. The other option being another horror plus single port, right? Port the Black Source and port. Shout out to port. I'm starting to believe, like, in my goblins lists, I'm playing more ports than wastelands. I'm starting to believe that this is just better, at least with the format as it stands right now. Port has been really, really impressive. So let's serve. So attack with everything. If I therapy, what am I scared of? Can my opponent get back into this game? I think it's better for me to just play out the Squee and double port again. And that means that they can't play both. Oh, this is legendary. I'm an idiot. Never mind. So I guess this was a mistake, very clearly. All right, my bad. I can just like ping them to death next turn. So this is fine. We still do the same thing. For whatever reason, I just brain farted. Like, of course, Squee is legendary. I mean, not that it really matters, but obviously mistakes were made. I'm not gonna say that was not embarrassing, right? Spend 3 mana, throw this card in the garbage. Funniest thing, we could have gotten a ping out of it, and we didn't. So, like, you can really tell how bad of a play it was. That was one of the mopiest games I've played in a really long time. I kind of loved it, but I mean, we won that game because of this, right? Like, because of the actual weirdo kind of mana denial game plan that we have going on. So yeah, I kind of want the split the other way around. I kind of want 4 ports, 3 wastelands. So Coffin Purge is okay. If we had Entomb, I think I would play like 1 or 2 Coffin Purges in this deck, but Firestorm felt pretty bad there. It's probably still, like, I probably just still have to have it. In fact, again, I talked about Withered Wretch. I am I'm just terrified of that card, so I think I want an extra copy. But yeah, I think this is what I'm gonna be doing. We just cut Snuff Out. I mean, Snuff Out can kill birds, and it can kill, what's his name? It can kill walls. So maybe that's just worth having the one-off. It's close. Like, all of my cards are just so mildly mediocre, as opposed to, you know, I don't have any bangers, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't have any cards I'm just like, oh yeah, this is great, like, let's do this. It's just all an amalgamation of mediocre cards in this matchup, so that makes it a little bit tougher. I think we keep this, and we just pray that we find some lands. Again, like, Gamble just seems so bad in this matchup. Gamble just feels kind of horrible. But this seems like a fine mulligan. I just need to find lands here. When I move to 5 into turn 1 city. Is there, well, I mean, I was gonna say, is there anything that they can cast on turn 2 that I would want to duress? But now that I have 2 duresses and I don't have more mana, I'm just gonna cast duress because I kind of have to. Natural Order. Damn, son. Well, I saw Nishoba last game. Of course they have Natural Order. I'm just, yeah, that was just silly. Obviously they have Natural Order. Alright, so opponent spends 2 mana. I've never seen the City of Brass art. Wall of Blossoms. Blossoms instead of Roots is very interesting. I guess I have to duress here. We can duress, hoping that my opponent found something. And then I'm going to... Okay, so they found Recurring Nightmare. That's good. Now I'm going to gamble for Infestation, and I'm going to hope that we don't discard it like we did. Is there any card that I could gamble for here? Dystopia. I'd rather get some Infestation. Coffin Purge were discarded. Hey, that's good. Alright, so we have to dodge duress here. We know they don't have it in hand, but they could definitely have drawn it off the top. Here comes the Wall of Roots. Wall of Roots in play. And send it back. Okay. And I guess here we're just gonna make a 2/2. We're gonna redraw our Kraken Horror. Get back our Horror and pass it back. These horrors have been kind of awkward. Like, I need to find Sligh, and then all my problems go away. But I kind of have to find it quickly. They top deck Deed. Ugh. Vomit. That's so good for them. Dude. That's such an amazing top deck for them. I'm gonna pass it back. I'm gonna try to force this Deed activation. We're gonna need 1 land to do so. Because this Bird Alive is gonna do a lot. Perfect. Okay, so this Bird Alive is gonna do a lot of work for me. So let's fetch. And I think I'm fetching for a mountain here. Because we don't really have that many double black cards. But here's Buried Alive, and we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go. Oh man, this is tough. We have this horror here, which is locked up. I need to purge away my Bloodstained Mire in order to fix that. So I think I want Horror Nether Spirit Sligh. Horror Nether Spirit Sligh. Actually, I want more Slighs. I think I'm gonna go Horror double Sligh. And we're gonna get our Horror back here. Can't really attack, but that's fine. Get our Horror back, pass it. And I mean, eventually we're gonna be able to force Dust Bowl. That's 1 turn too late. I'm kind of fine with that. If they want to start Dust Bowling me, that's pretty good. Like I would prefer that to happen, because in order to blow up my zombie infestation, they're gonna need to Deed for 2, which is gonna blow up both of my opponent's walls. So if my opponent wants to be down on mana, that's good for me, I think. So we get God there. Let's get 1 more zombie. And I just realized that Kraken Horror, in the previous match, I realized that Kraken Horror triggers on every single end step, which is kind of strong. So let's get Horror in there. Now we get some Sligh triggers. Squeeze our back to hand. Overworld Volcano, yeah. Just playing that out, playing all my lands out, because, again, I want to make sure that I can... I want to make sure that my opponent has the least amount of mana possible. Like, if they want to go on the Mana Denial plan, that's exactly the plan that I want to be playing in. So here we're going to get back both Horrors. And starting next turn, my opponent's going to need to do something. Like, we are actually putting a really large amount of pressure on them. Green mana. Colorless, another wall. They're just playing a wall into Infestation. Okay. So, Infestation, Horror, Sligh. Discard Horror, put Sligh on top. That's a zombie. Now we're swinging in for 2. Get back Horror on end step. I guess I'm going to discard both Horrors on end step as well. This allows me to swing for 2 more. We're gonna get both Sligh back. Swamp. I think we chill on the Swamp, actually, because we can just discard it to Firestorm. So swing. Yeah, I don't think my opponent understands how strong of an engine this is. Like, they're gonna die to this, like, next turn. Like, they shouldn't be playing walls, because they're gonna really need to get rid of the zombie infestation. Like, they can't just get rid of the tokens and expect to win this game. So let's discard both of these. This is gonna mean that Kraken Horrors are gonna be coming back on my end step. I guess I'm going to, if I purge my own Bloodstain. Oh, actually that doesn't work. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. So we're just gonna go to end step and get back our Kraken Horrors here. Say yes. Say yes. I mean, it's not gonna take that long before they just have to crack this Deed. Withered Wretch is my opponent's best draw, and we can still beat that because we have the Firestorm in hand. Wall of Blossoms. That one's fine because it just cycles, right? So they, even if they crack Deed on 2, they can. It's still fine. But they should probably be using the Wall of Roots mana. Like that, every point that they take makes my zombies that much better. All right, some Wall of Root action right there. City, Ravenous Veloth. So let's think about this here. We're definitely gonna make a zombie. Actually, are we making a zombie? So I can, if I untap, I can get back my squeeze, and then I can Firestorm for 4, targeting double Waller Roots, Baloth, and I guess a Wall of Blossoms. Opponent cracks Deed for 0. Yeah, I think that we just untap here, because we're gonna be going down a card otherwise. So the way that we're gonna do this is we untap, say yes. Well, port is nice. That's a way to mess with the City of Brass. So we Firestorm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, we can force my opponent to, if we don't go, if we just discard everything, I think I'm just going to target everything here. We're just going to go for 6. And we're going to discard all 4 of these, and then obviously Cabal Therapy. So this is red mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this targets everything. And this now forces my opponent to crack the Deed on 0, sorry, because it's the only thing that they can do. And then, oh, I guess they forgot to float mana. They were F6 and they forgot to float mana. They could have also blown up my Infestation. So that was a really big misstep right there. Yeah, I mean, we are kind of getting a little bit away with murder here, actually. Oh no, they can still do it. Okay, this is fine, this is fine. So opponent can now blow up Deed for 2, which is not great, but we still get back Horror on end step. We're going to be able to port my opponent's city, locking their mana. They gain 4. They should float 2 and Deed, a pop Deed. And then we can start to just like hardcast Krovikan Horrors. So I think this is still a good play, I think. That's fine. So oh no. Oh no. Okay, so I'm just going to play as if zombie is not there. So like that was obviously a misclick. My opponent did not intend to do that. They even floated the mana. So I'm just gonna play as if this zombie infestation is not there. So yeah, I mean obviously I don't wanna win this game by a misclick, right? We're having a very interesting match, and we're having a very cool and interesting match, and I don't want to just be like, oh, look at me, just misclick, idiot, or whatever. Like that seems like a shitty way to end an otherwise great match. So I'm going to assume that this some infestation is not here, and we'll see how that works out for me. So here squeeze are coming back. Opponent not Dust Bowl in there is very interesting. Like I think that if I were them, I would be interested in Dust Bowl, sack city, and destroy port. So this is upkeep. My opponent is Dust Bowling. We'll see what they destroy. They do destroy the port. We're gonna get back Squee, and I think we're just gonna play Krovikan Horror here. Just hard cast it and say go. They find a land. We really want to dodge something like Hermit. Deranged Hermit would be pretty bad for us here. There's a land, so let's play it out, and I'm just going to play another horror here and swing. So I really doubt that they have removal for this, but there are some problems with our strategy right now. The biggest one of them being, as I was saying, the Deranged Hermit. The good thing about that is that my opponent would be taking damage from the Hermit, right? All right, opponent packs it in. We got there against the rock with the mopey the mopey hardcast Krovikan Horror plan. It worked. It was effective. No, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's play this last match. Okay, so this hand looks fine. We can duress on 1, therapy on 2. We can potentially gamble for what? We can gamble for I think I want to gamble for zombie infestation. I guess it's going to depend on what my opponent's up to over. Another rock gate, okay? But this time with main deck negator. That's kind of scary. Why do my rock opponents not have mana problems? Alright, so now we're gonna try to leave the dream, which is gonna be gamble here for zombie infestation. And then not discard the infestation. Perfect, we discarded the null rod, which doesn't do anything. Awesome. Okay, so do I want to therapy any of these things? I kind of want to therapy Wall of Blossoms, actually. Like, it's gonna stop my zombies. It's gonna give my opponent a redraw when I know that they're short on land. So I think we're just gonna Wall of Blossoms here. They found the land though. Unlucky. Unlucky. So we can just, I guess we can just hardcast Sligh if we want to, or we can just play Infestation. We can also just stop their land. I think I like that better. If I hardcast Sligh, I can get rid of Negator. I think just tapping their land is better though. Port was a fine draw there. So tap target. The only thing that punishes us here is Duress. So Duress or Therapy punish us pretty badly. Another basic forest. Okay, so I guess I want to fetch for a here. And we are going to play Infestation. And I think we have to name Negator, which sucks, but actually, do we? Like, can my opponent attack into a wall of zombies? I don't think they can just like send Negator into like a bunch of zombies. So I think we just pass the turn back. If they want to play Negator, that's kind of fine. I'm gonna keep tapping the green source because they have double green. They need double green for Bailoff, but Rager is a good draw. Yeah, that actually punishes me pretty badly. So my best draw here is Buried Alive. Contamination. That's not good enough. That is not good enough, I don't think. So I think we're gonna serve, and I'm just gonna discard this Contamination to Sligh. So the problem here is that if we do play the Contamination, if my opponent finds a Smother or something like that, they just break it. And I'm not super stoked. So I think we're just naming Bailoff. Therapy naming Ravenous Bailoff. Yeah, this is really bad. Okay, so we're likely not winning this one, huh? Port that one. They're gonna get to Naturalize, which is so bad for us. They also get to Wall of Blossom, so they're just gonna get to use their mana very efficiently here. And once again, our synergies get broken up and we are left with nothing. So yeah, this is kind of like the issue with the deck. Again, I could have played Contamination there, but then that doesn't really get me anywhere, right? Do I block here? Because this is kind of blanking Negator, so I guess we take it, at least for this turn. Alright, so we get back Sligh, draw land, which doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think we are dead now. I don't think we can win anymore. I think we're just too far behind. Opponent has a blank in hand for sure, so that's good for us, at least that we know of. But they have 2 unknown cards, and they're top decking a lot better than we. Like that, for example. Exactly like that. And this is, imagine if this were like a Birds of Paradise or like a what's his name, right? The Wall of Roots, right? If my opponent had drawn all of those stupid cards, they would be like further away from drawing good cards, and they would have achieved nothing, right? But instead they drew they drew 2 twos that draw cards, which is so much better. So everybody that's still playing Birds of Paradise and stuff is just like, I think they're doing it very wrong. Like Rager is a major upgrade for the Rock deck, in my opinion. They drew Bailoff. I'm okay to concede here. I don't think we're really going anywhere. I don't think there's anything that I can realistically draw that can kill my... If my opponent were at like 4 or something, I can draw something like Buried Alive, get back some Quebec and Horse, and just like ping them a bunch. But with them at 16, it feels impossible. Yeah, this matchup feels really bad for us. Or like remarkably bad. So We're just gonna bring in these stupid edicts versus the Wall of Blossoms deck because we just don't have anything better, really. I guess dystopias are okay, so maybe those are better than edicts. Snuff Out seems also bad, like it kills Baloth. I'd rather have Edict than Snuff Out, I think, because it kills Edict at least kills the 2/2 Wither Dredge. Yeah, this is maybe a Coffin Purge, but okay, what do we got here? All right, I mean, we do have some stuff here. Hopefully their land is a Llanowar Wastes or a Cedar Brass. A point on the 61 card special. Love to see it. Basic Forest. Let's do rest now. What opponent's got going on over there? Opponent says lol. Double deed, quadruple Wall of Blossoms. Alright. That's a hand, I guess. Yeah. Seems quite bad for us. Quite bad for us. So we're gonna Buried Alive here for... Do we want to do Nether Spirit, double Kroken Horror? Or would we just rather do like a bunch of squeeze? Let's just do 2 horrors, 1 squee. Let's just do 2 horrors, 1 squee, and I'm just gonna try to like get value from this Firestorm. Horrors come back on my end step. Pass it to my opponent. They did find a basic. It's another wall. It's 2 walls down. Squee comes back. It's a land. I guess I'm going to fetch for a swamp. Gonna Buried Alive again. I guess I kind of want to port. I think I want to port the Black Source. So let's do that. Let's do that instead. So port Black Source. So I imagine opponent's gonna play wall number 3. They found another swamp. Untap. Another Krogan. So, I mean, so we can Firestorm for a bunch, but this doesn't really do anything. So just Buried Alive, get back, I guess, triple squee. And I guess it's better for us to get triple squee than the 4th horror because squee comes back on my next upkeep, so I'm gonna be going to discard anyway. Let's see if my opponent plays out the 4th wall. They play a Baloth, which is fine. We can't even get that much value from this Firestorm because they just have a bunch of stupid things. So I guess I'm gonna go Firestorm into play horror. 1, 2, 3, 4. We just Firestorm for 5, which doesn't even do that much. 1, 2. I could do it for 6 if I wanted to, but I have to dome myself because Firestorm is a stupid card. Okay, so discard these. Graveyard, graveyard. Oh, there goes that. Opponent gains 4. They go to... We have a ton of cards in hand, but they kind of all get blanked by this Pernicious Deed. Okay. Duress. No, my Dystopia. My Dystopia. I think we'll be okay. Diabolic Edict instead of Dystopia? Interesting. Okay. Well, that's a good draw. Therapy U. Name Pernicious Deed. Ding, ding, ding. Wow. It's a big hit. That's a big hit. So they have double Deranged Hermit, Wall of Blossoms, Smother. We can flashback with a squee. So let's attack for 2. Opponent takes it down to 16. I can also just stab their Black Source, I guess. Like, I obviously want to name Deranged Hermit, but I don't think I want to name it now, because if they top deck exactly Recurrent Nightmare, then we get super owned. Because they just get back the Hermit, which is pretty bad for me. So I think we're just going to pass it back and tap the Forest. What if we... Yeah, I don't think we can afford to just pass the turn back, though. Yeah, I don't think we can afford to pass the turn back. Because if we do that and they top deck a land, then we get super owned. So tap their Forest on upkeep. Imagine they're going to play their wall. Therapy, naming Dystopia. Kind of awkward. No land at least, which is good. Can we draw Infestation? Can we draw a Zombie Infestation? Guess Swamp is fine because it allows me to Horror and upkeep tap, which seems fine. Tap the green source. Can do the exact same thing next turn. Another Rager. It's kind of annoying. Okay, so I guess this turn we need to therapy the. Oh well, there we go. So therapy the range hermit. Get those hermits. They drew therapy, which doesn't really do much. Do we want to take smother? It's kind of free for me to do that. But I guess if they want to kill my Sligh, that's fine, right? I think I'm actually not going to. Just gonna send here. Maybe they will take it. Okay, that's fine. Can work with that. Take a couple of points. Here we can just block and sack. Dude! Yeah, now we lose. That was a heck of a top deck. Jeez. That was a heck of a top deck. Can we win now? I think we're just done. I think that's just game. I don't think we can beat Recur. They have Baloth, they have multiple Wall of Blossoms. So I guess maybe I just have to bring in what's his name, because otherwise I just cannot beat this. I mean, I guess some Infestation can potentially do something here. Because they're gonna start making 1/1s, but then I get to make. They can start making 1/1s, but I just get to make 2/2s. I mean, they knew about. They had perfect information, so maybe they just wanted to sack Rager for something. I don't know. All right, some Infestation one time. Nope. Well, I guess they activated main phase, so we get to destroy the recurrent nightmare. We get to therapy the nightmare. A little bit of a misstep from my opponent there, I think. Recurring nightmare. Get that. And I guess I just play another horror. Pass the turn. If we had had another red, I was going to play another Sligh. Yeah, my opponent said like that was stupid sequencing, and yeah, that was it feels like a little bit of a misstep there for sure. If opponent sends everything, I was gonna take 8 there. Okay, so play out Sligh. I think we're just gonna play out the land. Nothing I'm interested in destroying. So I guess we're just going to send the horrors. And we can just sack Sligh to ping the hermit. Yeah, that's fine. So let's choose any target. Pay 1, sack. So now we trade everything, which seems fine. Opponent still has a wall, but we're gonna get horror back now. On end step. Pass it back, upkeep, tap the black source. Okay, we may actually get there because of that misstep from my opponent. If they had basically waited a turn. Okay, so that turns creature type is goblin. Okay. I mean, we still ooh baby. All right, that's a game. That is as a game. Discard both of these. Yeah. Wow, we kind of got away with murder there. If my opponent had not made that little misstep, that ended up being super costly for them. So I guess we need to have the purges just as a way to like beat that card. And Gamble probably sucks against them. So does Edict. Man, so many cards suck against them. All right, try this again. I don't think I want Plague, I don't think I want Contamination, don't think I want Snuff Out. Yeah, I think this is fine. Maybe that's too many purges. The problem is I kind of like Purge better than just Gamble. Although I guess I can gamble for a Purge if I want to. Man, but I mean, they all seem so bad. No lander, so clean mulligan here. New hand, we have Buried Alive, a bunch of lands. Okay. Do we just keep Volcano here? I think we do. We just bottom the fetch. Turn 1 Swamp. Play Volcano. So it's nice that we actually have some disruptive elements going on here. That's been kind of an enjoyable part of this deck. Like if it didn't have access to all of these like random disruptive things, I feel like the deck would really struggle to compete. Okay. So we can waste the treetop and effectively repeat the exact same turn. So blow up treetop, port you. I think next turn we buried alive. Interesting. So what I can do here is I kind of don't want to. So the awkward thing here is I kind of don't want to play. I really don't want to play into a potential naturalize or pernicious deed here, right? So I think I'm gonna bury it alive for my usual split, which has been 2 horrors, 1 squee. And then I'm gonna take this turn off, and next turn we're gonna start double porting. If I can dodge something big here, I'm gonna be in okay shape. Honestly, really unfortunate that Buried Alive does not allow you to get that it's not Entomb, right? If Buried Alive were something like Entomb, we would be able to do some nasty stuff like, you know, Buried Alive for Cabal Therapy or stuff like that. Spike Feeder. Interesting. Okay. Why is that in my opponent's deck? Feels like it shouldn't be. Okay, so I guess this turn we double port. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna have to go to this card. I can double port, or I can, because next turn I can gamble for Infestation plus port. Yeah, I think we just double port here. Discard Squee, upkeep, port a green source, port the other green source. And next turn we're going to Buried Alive, gamble for what's his name, for Zombie Infestation, Purge. Okay, so let's play out Sulphur Springs and let's gamble for Zombie Infestation. Purge was discarded, that's fine. Play Zombie Infestation, discard 2 horrors, discard 2 squeeze. Should be able to go to end step, smaller a token. I'll take that. That probably tells me that they don't have deed, which is very good for me. So horrors get back, pass the turn, port on upkeep the Treetop Village. I mean, if they want to activate Treetop Village, I'm very excited about that, but it's still the most valuable land there. Yeah, they have the Naturalize, which is bad for me. But okay, we got a couple of zombies out of the deal. Hopefully it's gonna add up to something. We have Plague for Zombie. Yep. That's tough. That is certainly tough. Get Horror back. Get some Squeeze back. Therapy. I guess I'm gonna Therapy. Feel like if they had Pernicious Deed, they would have played that last turn, so I'm gonna Therapy for Ravenous Bailoff. Ravenous Bailoff. Deranged Hermit is another good one. Yeah, okay. So they have Nightmare, which I probably can't beat, so I'm just gonna play out a Squee here. We're just gonna flashback, naming Recurrent Nightmare. Oh, actually, I messed this up. I tapped wrong. So what I was supposed to do is I was supposed to like leave black up and then Therapy Hermit. Yeah, I messed this up. I was supposed to leave up. I forgot that I had discarded this Coffin Purge earlier today. I didn't see it in my hand and I kind of forgot about it. But I should have gotten that, like gotten Hermit with the Therapy, and then like, yeah, this was bad. Can I recover from this? Can I come back from this? I guess we just have to pass here. Yeah, that's that was so bad. So now I need to like horror the Hermit. Opponent plays out the Nightmare. Okay, let's see what's up. Basic Swamp. So what now? Play out a land. 2, 3, 4. So I have the Coffin Purge. So I think we're going to Buried Alive for Horror plus 2 Squeeze. Oh, we can do double Horror? Okay, I'll do double Horror. Yeah, that seems better. Double Horror plus Squee. And now we're gonna Therapy Deranged Hermit. Deranged Hermit. So their last card in hand is a Smother. And gonna pass the turn. And tap Treetops. Smother a token. Okay, so no cards in hand for OP. port them a little bit. Maybe I should be porting the black sources at this point. No, this actually beat me then. I'm gonna port the ones that actually kill me. It's probably the better line. Oh, I'm an idiot. I tapped out of... Damn, I'm making all of this plays and then I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm making all of this plays and then I'm just getting ahead of myself. And I'm just being stupid. Okay. I messed this up. I need to leave the black mana for the Coffin Purge. Yeah, I messed this up. Yeah, I played this game pretty poorly, actually. I still think we're pretty far behind, but I could have made things to put us in a better spot. And instead, I did a bunch of throwing. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna play out Sligh so I can sack it. And again, I tapped like shit. Damn it. Why am I doing this? Why am I messing this up like this? Why am I just playing so poorly right now? I can't explain it. I don't really have any good excuses as to why I'm playing so poorly right now. Another hermit. Okay. It's a lot of squirrels. That is a ton of squirrels. Lock. And so I guess it wouldn't have really mattered because they had a second hermit, so would have been exactly the same or dead to the recurrent nightmare nonetheless. Okay, so we may get a little bit of time walk action here at least. No, we needed to draw another Coffin Purge there. So I guess 2/2s are better than 1/1s. How much mana do I need? So this is to purge 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1, 2, 3. So I guess I can technically play a horror instead of Sligh. There we go. Untap. And I'm just gonna go after the treetops once again. Black source doesn't really matter right now. Opponent is gonna be able to get back their hermit. They're gonna get a bunch of creatures. So we need to draw purge number 2 kind of right now. I mean, this game was still just kind of free, you know? Like feels like we were lucky to be in this position to begin with. Because my opponent made that mistake on game 1. So there's a swamp, horror, and I guess we serve and take some damage. But now we can't beat their engine right now. Can't beat their engine. Yep. Seems good. We play Nightmare, and now my opponent has learned their lesson, so good on them. Good on them to actually fix their mistake from earlier. So block, gonna sack to being the hermit. So I can keep the squirrels being 1/1s, but unless I can actually get rid of the hermit, it doesn't really achieve anything. So need to draw a gamble, I don't even know what I need to draw at this point. I really don't know what I need to draw here. Like zombie infestation, would that do anything? So let's swing for 4, I guess. Opponent sends some chompers in there, which is fine. Upkeep, tap some lands. But they're making tokens at a much faster rate that I'm able to keep up with them. So we need to find, we have like maybe 1 turn to find what's his name? Oh, Second Plague. Brutal. So now they can name horror and we're kind of dead now. Oh, Spirit is better because I also have Nether Spirit. That's true. Yeah, much better. Can I find another Graveyard Exile card? Which nope, that's not it. That is most certainly not it. Last fetchable. Okay. Not great. So here's an attack with Sligh. There goes that. Guess I'm gonna play a second Sligh to block. I guess I could have sacked the other one too. Yeah, I actually should have sacked there. Port. Should have sacked the other one for 1 ping. Maybe get rid of 1 squirrel. Okay, that's it. All right, that was rough. Alrighty, let's wrap this up. So the deck was fun. We just managed to play against a bunch of black decks, and our win percentage versus black decks goes down dramatically. Like every single black deck seems like a really bad matchup because a bunch of our cards just don't function. We have so many dead cards versus black decks between Snuff Out, Contamination. It's pretty rough. So I feel like what this deck is doing is very powerful. We actually got to do the thing, right, in that game against Sligh in the very first round. Which, by the way, Sligh also felt like a really bad matchup. Unless we had like an extremely above average draw like the one that we had on that game too. Feels like our normal draw should be way too slow to be able to keep up with what Sligh is doing. So this deck has some very, very glaring weaknesses that I wonder if they can be made up in any way. So weaknesses are you get run over by fast decks, and your lock combo does not function versus black decks. So those are some pretty important weaknesses because your combo needs a lot of pieces to work, and a bunch of the non-black decks have a lot of ways to make your combo not work, because they have like naturalized effects and interaction, and like the second that your contamination gets dealt with, you're kind of back to square one. The same thing is true with zombie infestation. Like you need infestation to be online for multiple turns before it's actually very good. So that makes things a little bit awkward. So you have those kind of problems on one side. And then on the other side, you also do get run over by fast decks that we played against Sligh there, and like it felt really bad. But we also did not get paired against goblins, which I assume it can't be that good. Like sure, we have some plays in the sideboard, but barring that, like if goblins manages to get under what we're doing, like it seems extremely tough for us to be able to come back, because we do have the inevitability with some infestation, but that word is so hard to say, man. That inevitability is really, really slow to get going. Like the engine is powerful, but it takes a lot of time to get going, and it has some pieces, and those pieces are pretty bad without one another. So if you don't have the Buried Alive, then some infestation doesn't do anything, which is something that happened a couple of times in our matches. And if you have if you have the contamination, you don't have the zombie infestation or the nether spirit, your contamination also doesn't do anything. So you have a lot of missing pieces that when you put them together, they're very, very strong. But if you have any of them without the other one, you have a non-functional deck. So you can grind, but it just feels like for a deck that has this grinding potential, you are very easy to disrupt, which is a little bit contradictory. So I feel like there's something there, but I don't know how I feel about those weaknesses. I do think that this deck is well built. I think that this deck is very well built, and it shows a lot of testing and a lot of work put into it. Stuff like the main deck new rod. You don't randomly arrive at this conclusion. Like this is just saying Tomo's script destroys me. So I need to have a way to like deal with it, and how we have one in the main, two in the sideboard. Like I think that kind of stuff is fantastic. Firestorm was extremely underwhelming, honestly. The fact that you can't deal more than the amount of targets that you have makes this card really, really awkward. I was not impressed by this card at all. I thought it was bad many times that I had it in my hand. And I'm not vibing with it to put it somehow. The gambles were kind of awkward. Like they're great, they're fun, but they, you may be discarding what you get, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if it's a bad top deck in the late game, unless your engine is already online, you have your squeeze and your horrors already going. So it's got some problems, and I'm not so sure. I'm not very sure how to fix them, which is my main problem. But I was very impressed by the Mana Denial game plan, and it surprises me. Like I didn't really see Stronghold being good ever. So I wonder if like whenever you have like a horror that gets like nullified, right? Like your opponent like destroyed your summon invitation and that fell on top of the horror, and now your horror is gone forever. So I think that's kind of the thought process behind the Stronghold, which is like you can save a horror. But I feel like it's just not good at doing that. That is something that is not really worth doing. I feel like it's just better to just say, okay, whatever, like that horror is gone. I'd much rather have access to like really dig and really try to exploit this like mana denial game plan, or like straight up just playing another colored source like a City of Brass or something like that. Like this card felt pretty bad. These cards felt pretty bad. It feels like this game has some very, very lopsided matchups. So you are either very favored, or you can never win in a million years and your cards are very, very just dysfunctional. And being bad against the Rock feels kind of like a death sentence. Maybe I got unlucky or something like that. I don't know. But like the matchup against the Rock felt pretty damn bad. Between like Naturalizes and like Pernicious Deed, which we cannot really beat, plus the recurrent Nightmare Engine that feel like a lot of things, plus the fact that Contamination doesn't do anything against them. Like sure, you can sometimes, under very specific circumstances, if they don't have the removal, if you have your engine, if you're able to get your Soul Manifestation and they didn't answer it on time, like if you have a lot of ifs that fall into place, sure, Contamination can be good. And maybe because the matchup felt so bad, maybe we are supposed to leave the Contaminations in and hope for those cheese wins. But yeah, I'm not impressed with the deck. It was a lot of fun. That's for sure. Like trying to figure out how all the pieces work, how to like stack my cards in the graveyard. Like I don't think I've ever played any other deck where the order in which the cards go into my graveyard actually mattered. It was a thing, so that was cool. But yeah, I wonder how viable this deck is in. I mean, we played against a lot of black decks, to be fair. Like I wish that we had played against like a Standstill, or even against stuff like Elves. Like I feel like you can potentially lock out Elves or decks like that with this engine. Decks that don't really have a way to interact with creatures and whatnot. But overall, maybe this is like a very biased opinion based on the fact that we played against a bunch of bad matchups and I only saw the fail rate of the deck. Like I didn't really get to see a lot of where the deck really shines. So that was the only that is the only issue that I have with it. But this was great. Thank you so much, Michael. This deck is very, very interesting. I doubt that I'll pick it up, but but I'm happy that you found it, and it seems like it's doing something very, very cool. So props to you on that. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way out, and I'll see you in the next video, folks. Take care. Bye bye. Long live Premodern.